tuning into Radicards TV on Radicards.com. I'm your host, Patrick Reno, and today I'm interviewing Tim Getsch, founder and CEO of COMC.com.
Hello.
How's it going, Tim?
Good.
Yeah. It's so awesome to have you here again. It's been about a year since our last interview. How's it been?
Good, really good. It's been a good year.
Good. Yeah. Awesome. Glad to hear it. So, have there been any new developments at COMC you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, there's been a major change that we made last January.
Okay.
We changed our fee structure. Something that a lot of people had over the years asked that maybe we could do a little lower commission. And I've always said that that fee is off the table. We're not going to touch that fee. So for the first 10 plus years, we had a 20% cash out fee, and that just stayed. A lot of other fees changed. We increased or decreased fees for shipping and processing, but that fee stuck. And it really affected the ability for people to consign high-end cards with us. So in January, we finally changed that fee. And so now we have a 10% cash out fee, and to kind of help the math work for us, we added a 5% transaction fee. So when any card sells, we keep 5%, and then when people want to cash out, we take 10%.
Gotcha.
So it ends up being actually 14.5% when you do the math for something that straight cashes out.
Good. I mean anything to get more people to adopt the service. Right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the thing.
yeah.
Where it still makes business sense.
Yeah.
And that's always good to do that. That's interesting. I like that. You know, as someone who hasn't yet signed with COMC, but I'm a buyer. I've been a buyer since, I think I made my first purchase in like 09 or 10.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe before that even. I can't remember, but I remember learning about, like I said last time, in 07, when you guys would check out mycards.com.
Yeah.
Those are good days. I mean, they're good days now, but it's just like I remember the old like memories of placing orders, so this is good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you. When we spoke last year, COMC was still in the process of mobile compatibility migration. Can you share how that arm of the project is going?
So it's I can say this. I do have a mobile app installed on my phone right now. Obviously, no one else does. This is not public yet. So that's one of the things that we've changed in our approach. We were originally thinking last year, I'm sure the thought was that we would make a mobile-friendly website, and then we would make a mobile app. We're flipping that. We're going to build a mobile app first, and then we're going to build a mobile website kind of based on top of the APIs and things we have to do to build the mobile app. So I don't have specific timeline for the mobile app. Notifications are a key part of the mobile app.
Right.
I do enjoy getting notifications on my phone, and soon everybody else will too. But that's the approach that we're going to be taking, and we'll see. We're actually looking to build up our development team. So if there's people out there that are interested in joining COMC to help us build our mobile apps, we'll start with iOS and then eventually do Android. We're looking at resumes, and that project is kind of in beta right now.
You have job descriptions on the career page?
That we haven't done that yet.
Okay.
We haven't done that yet, but right now we're kind of gathering what specific requirements we want, and we're actually going to be working with another third party that specializes in building mobile apps, and they're going to kind of help the team find the right talent to grow as we need.
Good. That's great. Yeah. Glad to hear it. So that's in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to happen.
Yeah, but if you go to the website, you're not going to notice any significant difference.
That'll be streamlined?
So in the future, you will notice a lot. But if you compare last year's website to this year's website, there's not a significant difference on the mobile front. We've done work, but it's not customer visible yet. There's been a lot of kind of foundational things that we've been working on that are going to enable us to do a lot more of this, but it's not public yet.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Keep out for that. And if you're an engineer or a developer, look out for, I guess, the career page on COMC.com and for those job descriptions. Let's see here. A while back, the COMC URL went from checkoutmycards.com to comc.com. Was the new domain name taken, and if so, can you talk about what went into securing it?
Good question. This happened during the recession.
Oh, yes.
Yes, this was back when people needed money, and I happened to find it available. It was up for sale. Someone owned it. I didn't get to buy it for like $10. I had to pay a pretty. No, I wish.
I know, right?
I had to pay a pretty. I had to pay anything with 4 letters is expensive. So I had to pay a pretty penny to get comc.com, but it was an obvious move because from day one people started calling us that. It's just a long name to type out, check out my cards. So when I got the opportunity, I definitely jumped on it.
Now, you don't have to share a specific number, but was it in the 5 figures?
No. No.
It wasn't that high?
No.
So upper 4s maybe?
It was in the 4s.
Okay.
I also I got comc.org as well, and but that one was less.
Right.
Yeah. I don't remember the specifics. It was not 5 figures.
So a little backstory is that, like back in 2010, I was learning how to build websites. And there was one domain I wanted, and it was taken. I learned how to contact the owner, and I didn't know how expensive that they were. I offered the guy $100. He's like, "We're so far apart." And I was like, "How much?" He's like, "25K is the offers I'm turning down." I'm like, "My gosh, man, I feel so like."
No, I got really fortunate to get it during the recession. Yeah.
Good stuff. I'm glad we talked about that because I was always curious about it. So, does COMC track sales analytics? And if so, does the firm pursue specific consignment needs based on market trends?
So we do track sales analytics, but we have done very little to influence the market on what stuff to send to us. We do offer some pages that try to estimate what things are hot, so you can go look at players and sets and see what's hot. That's kind of a measure of how quickly things are leaving our warehouse. And people can use that to decide what they might send to us. But we don't really control what people can find. There's been sometimes in the past where, for example, when Linsanity was crazy, where we would do a sale, like, hey, send us any Jeremy Lin cards and we'll do express processing for free. Back then it was called Express. But we haven't really done a whole lot to change what people consign with us. That will very likely change in the future. We want to give people tools to focus their energies on what they're going to consign, on things that are actually going to sell. Especially now that we get a commission when it sells, it's better for us, and it's obviously better for consigners to give us things that have buyers waiting for them.
I always look at, like, sending out your email with saying, hey, here's the top 5 things that are they're hot right now. It's a great time to move these old products.
That would be a great idea.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we have not done a lot of that. Maybe there's been, like, we'll post on Instagram the top sales so you can get some idea of some cards that are selling, but it's not really an aggregate market report.
Might be something for the COMC blog, our monthly hot prospect, good time to sell this.
Yeah.
And then people can go say, oh, this is a great time for me to move X, Y, and Z. I remember when the Strasbourg trade was big, and the Bryce Harper thing was big, and then every year there was somebody, and so it was a good time to move that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a good time to kind of steer the audience in a way that they can obviously send you anything else they want to, saying, we're putting in premiums on, inviting everybody to send these items because they're hot sellers right now.
Yeah, so we used to do that more. We have not. This would be a great service for our customers, absolutely. We just haven't needed to drum up more demand for our consignment service, so it hasn't been very high priority. But it would be very helpful, so I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happens in the near future.
I think the other benefit to something like this is just more content on the blog. It's more like, in addition to all the other things we're doing, it's just, here's something we're also doing, we're paying attention to what is hot right now. I look at that as like, it might be a bandwidth thing, like it's low priority. But
we actually did a feature just in the last few months, so that our social media team can easily look at like the highest selling, the most expensive items. This sounds like a tweak on that. That's just like which players sold the most, rather than exactly which cards sold the most. That isn't already available for social media. It very likely will be soon, and so they'll be able to go tap into that, and yeah, that would be good for the whole market.
You're welcome. What challenges has COMC faced over the past year, and how have those challenges been countered?
I'm sure there's been a lot of different challenges we've faced. I know hiring has been one. It's always challenging. Seattle had the hottest housing market for the last number of years, so basically wages and everything have been going up. So it's been harder and harder for us to find more people in the Seattle area. I know I've been focused mainly on the tech side, and we have a lot of big initiatives that we're working on. I was telling you before we started about server migration internally. That's very helpful for us, but it's been painful. Just kind of staying on top of all the moving pieces and making sure everything's working. Also building out our development team so that we can add more features at a faster clip. I mentioned our mobile development team.
Absolutely.
But we actually have so many different projects going on. It's not just the customer-facing website, future mobile app, but we have some image recognition software. We want to take advantage of more machine learning and AI, so that can help us be more efficient in processing cards that people can sign, so that we can keep our labor costs down, so we can continue offering great service, high quality. So there's so many different pieces that we have to build. A lot of times we're spending a lot of time building those things that customers don't see, but our internal employees are using. So this past year has been a variety of those things.
Now, off the top here, it's not a question in this list, but something I was thinking about. What's the process for you to scan front and back quickly and upload it? Because I think you guys are scanning at like somewhere between 150 and 300 DPI, right?
Yeah.
I would assume so.
Actually, so we have a variety of techniques, and some patent pending technology, some patented technology. So some of that stuff you can look up and you can see roughly what we're doing. We generally don't capture any images less than 200 DPI. And sometimes we might do up to 600 DPI. A lot of stuff is 400 DPI, but it depends on what technique we're using. We historically have relied almost exclusively on scanning, and we've been doing more with photos, because photos capture the light in a very different way than a scanner does. So for certain types of items, a photo is the best way to go. Some of that stuff we're kind of learning as we're going, and so our technology is improving, our photos are improving, and stuff like that.
What scanner would you recommend? Or have you used a variety of different styles?
We've used many different scanners. I don't have a specific recommendation.
So I use the Epson B330, and but the bed is, it's kind of like 12 by 9 or whatever. It's not huge. And you guys probably need I would assume, a bigger bed.
So a lot of this we don't normally talk about. Yeah. So
it's proprietary.
Yeah. We do have a variety of techniques that we use. We've tried just about everything.
Fair enough. I won't pry. I appreciate you sharing that information. And if there's anything else in here you actually don't want to answer, just say no comments. Let's see here. With regard to the competitor landscape, have you ever considered partnering with other consignment companies for some specific initiative where both parties might experience net gain?
Are there particular consignment services you had in mind with that question?
I mean, I guess I'm looking at more like complementary consignment services where one company offers something that your customers also use, but they're not sports cars, right? They might be memorabilia.
So
that when customers come through one pipeline, they get hooked into the other one as well, in addition if they have sports cars, right?
The thing that comes to mind is more like us offering grading services. Right. So that's a complimentary service, but they're not doing consignment. They're just obviously adding additional value to the cards, but we're helping streamline that process. The only competitor that I know of that is sort of in this space would be Amazon, but they don't really offer our type of service with trading cards. You have to already have your cards identified, and then you can put them in their fulfillment service. And so that might be interesting on some scale for certain cards. Certain customers might be able to use that. We've considered using them for some stuff. It hasn't quite worked out, and Amazon's not really focused on the sports card market anymore. They used to have a team dedicated to the sports card category, and now they don't have a team focused on the category. So a lot of those ideas have been backburnered. But if there's some idea, I'd be open to it, but nothing has come up that we were close to considering. We've talked in the past about offering services in other categories. We've done comic books for a while, and coins have come up. We did a project with Upper Deck, a huge project for Grandeur coins. So that was the impetus for developing our photo technology, because you can't scan coins. They look like tough. They look horrible
because of that metallic.
Yeah.
Just like
dark, flat. Yeah. So we are interested in branching out into other categories, but there haven't been any specific competitors that have come to mind.
So there's another question here that's similar because about the categorically. We'll get to it, but I think that this is kind of a nice transition. If you were to pinpoint the biggest pain point for COMC, maybe overall, what would it be and why?
So with consignment in general, the challenge that's so different from every other business is, well, not every other business, but tech businesses. So we're very heavily tech focused, but most tech companies can scale, grow 10x with 2x the effort, right? You just add more servers to it. Scaling the handling of cards, the imaging of cards, the shipping of cards, to do 10 times the volume requires 10 times the labor unless some massive innovation is developed. So I mentioned looking into AI to help keep some of our costs in check. Some of these innovations are very expensive to get off the ground, and there's no guarantees that we're going to get any win from it. So that's kind of the delicate balance as we continue to grow. And we've been growing 25 to 40% a year, which is really hard to grow a workforce, to make sure they're trained, keeping them happy, making sure that the systems are working properly. So that's a very, very difficult balance. And that's just historically, that's the biggest challenge.
So if there are any robots that do the job really fast, definitely apply for the jobs at COMC. That's what you need is an assembly line like Ford did with the car. Back in the day.
Yeah, we've tried innovating in so many different ways, and we're constantly looking at ways to improve. But there's not something that in normal tech scenarios where I mentioned you can do 10x but only 2x the effort. Like that win probably isn't there, but maybe we can do 10x with 6x the effort. The issue is it probably costs 10x the cost to get to that point, so it's just this hurdle of when have we grown enough that we can take advantage of robotics or some other technology.
Now with the robotics thing, this is interesting because I see where that's just going to eventually go. It's going to, a lot of jobs will be utilized by artificial intelligence down the line. My biggest concern with trading cards is, humans have like an emotional initiative with cardboard that we carefully, we pick them up carefully, we hold them carefully, we sleeve them carefully, we care for them. I hope that at some point, if robots are hired to do a lot of the labor behind the scenes for say CMG.com, that they can have that careful, and you can still do it carefully, quicker than a human. This is the one thing I think about is, can robots produce this 10x volume at the same emotional AI that humans are? EI, emotional intelligence that humans that humans utilize when they're caring for their
That's a great point. And actually, some of the numbers that we've heard as we've investigated this. So first off, there are a lot of jobs that are at this point not ideal for robots.
Right.
If you look at Tesla and their automation, they discovered that like trying to cram foam into like a seat, humans can easily see how things adapt, but it's not consistent. And so robots right now, automation, just like certain tasks, you should just have a human grab two hoses and plug them together. Don't try to have a robot do that. If things are coming in consistently, a lot of those can be good for automation. Also, generally, you need to have a robot take the place of about 6 humans for the math to make sense right now. So like some of the stuff is still down the road. It's not like a cheap thing to do. When we've been thinking about it, there's some opportunities that lend themselves more towards automation and some that we're not there yet. For example, putting a card in a sleeve.
Right.
That is a human task.
Very much a human task.
Now, once it's in a sleeve, especially if it's in a top loader or in a graded case or something else, then it's more forgiving. And so, an example of a place where we could really leverage more automation is maybe when we're looking at cards that we're shipping, and we have to make sure that an order is correct. Just before we ship an order out, today we have a human go through every single card and make sure that it's correct. That could be done by a robot. Right. A robot could take a card. They're all already in sleeves or they're in holders. Look at each one, take a picture of it, compare it to what we have in our database that we're expecting. Okay, yes, this is the correct card. Okay, we're ready to send that order out. Right. So there's some tasks like that I could see in the future. Maybe you set a stack of cards in front of a robot and it says, yep, that's good. And then that task, we don't have to have a human do that. We can focus on other things like getting the cards in the sleeves or making sure that the package is securely packed and not just throwing a bunch of foam in or something like that.
So this is distant future stuff, but it's good to think about what could be in, say, 30 years. It might even be sooner.
Way more than 30 years.
You think 30? You think more than 30?
Way more than 30 years.
So we're looking at way beyond the scope of like the next 5. We're looking probably way in the distance.
This is in the 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years, there will be major changes.
Okay. But robots will be way more than 30 years.
It depends what you mean by robots.
Like, so the handling of packaging and making sure to confirm the inspected by.
Sure.
That process. All the
I wouldn't
robot
be surprised,
allowed.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have something like that in 5 years.
Okay, so 5. Okay.
Yeah. Now there's whole levels of things that we can do, from going out to the warehouse and retrieving the cards.
That could be robotic.
There's a lot that could be robotic, and there's some systems that already exist. There's some systems that we would need custom that are specific to our category, to the trading card marketplace. But we'll see how it goes. We're keeping an eye out on the technology that's out there, and like all technology, it generally becomes better and less expensive over time. And there's a certain time where the threshold's crossed. I think it'll happen in in the next 5 years, we'll be able to assist more things with automation, which will help us provide better service at a better price. And I don't foresee us replacing humans with automation. It's more, we can't hire enough humans today, and this will allow us to continue to grow and not be limited by the humans that we can hire.
Right. I'm still using the Apple II. Let's see here. Is there any possibility COMC will ever consign items outside of the collectibles category? This is the category question that we talked about. You had indicated that you guys have tried comic books and coins. What about things outside of the collectibles category?
So my hesitation has been more on form factor than on what you're collecting. So, for example, pretty much anything that's the size of a trading card, we can handle today. Right? And so we're not just sports. We started as sports, but we'll do Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Now Upper Deck has some gaming cards, the Overwatch League. So it doesn't have to be traditional sport. Right. We've heard about collecting postcards.
Oh yeah.
So again, they're collectible. There needs to be demand for it. Right. But yeah, we are open to doing things, especially if it kind of can do. It can be achieved with the technology that we already have. Right. Generally, we're going to focus on things where a catalog is valuable. That's one of the things where a postcard is tricky. Can we categorize the postcards, or is it just something that looks good and people are interested in that? Are we able to, if we can associate a catalog with it, if there's a checklist, if there's things that people are hunting for, then we would generally see it more in alignment with the type of things that we carry.
Now, do you know of any database that catalogs postcards?
I don't
collect them.
Yeah, I don't know of a catalog that's like the definitive list. Like there is for coins and Matchbox cars and so many other things.
I think there's one for Pez dispensers.
Yeah.
The toys.
Yeah.
It's a big market.
And that's one where, again, I think our consignment model works, especially for things that are relatively small, like Pez or Matchbox cars. But then as soon as you get to bigger toys, the whole consignment model gets more complicated. And there's other models. For example, StockX with shoes. Shoes are not really that conducive to consignment. They take a lot of space. Right. It's expensive to ship. If you don't know someone's going to buy it, you really want to ship it and store it. So StockX, where you can hold on to it until you have a buyer, that model probably works better for bigger items. Once you're small enough that you can put several items in a box, especially with trading cards, where you can do thousands of cards in a box, then our model is killer. It's definitely the way to go. Right. But there's some threshold where things are too big and you are better off just holding on to it, finding the buyer. You're on the hook to store and insure it and all that stuff. Furniture would definitely.
Anything that's big and bulky and expensive to ship is something that you wouldn't want to go into an e-commerce business running, right? Because inventory carrying costs and the shipping costs will just like kind of eat up all your margins. So this is an interesting conversation to have. I'm glad we talked about that. Can you share any information on your pricing strategy for items sold outside of COMC's website? You have them on eBay, and I think they're also on Amazon. Okay.
So actually, that was part of the change that we made back in January. Prior to that, the way our site worked was the fees were on the seller. They had to basically agree to cover the eBay and Amazon fees. And if they did, then we would list their items. Right. Well, a lot of times when people had really good items and they wanted to price them competitively, they would opt out of that. And then their items wouldn't get as many eyeballs. So we wanted to take that off the table. We wanted to make sure that we could give any item that's consigned to us as many eyeballs as possible. Right. And so we tried to kind of create a standardized model where what we're effectively doing is we're creating, we have a guest marketplace on ComC, which is, Amazon requires price parity. So everything listed to people that are not members of ComC, the publicly visible price is the same price you're going to get on Amazon. And that's the same price that we're going to list it on eBay as well. However, there's stuff that we can do with shipping. So for example, everybody on Amazon is used to having free shipping.
Right.
So everything on Amazon has shipping bundled in it.
Right.
On eBay, for cheaper items, you want to be able to buy 5 cards for $1 and then only have one combined shipping fee. So we have that priced a little differently. But the idea is that we're marking things up to cover the eBay and Amazon fees, so that you don't have to think about it. We're going to take the best price on ComC. We're going to factor in what commission eBay and Amazon need in order to cover their fees, and then we'll give as many items as much exposure as possible. And that's been very successful with eBay. Our sales on eBay are way up. Amazon, like I said, they're not really focused on the trading card category, so we haven't really focused as much on that as well. I think there's some opportunities we could do a little better there, but that's kind of the gist of what we're trying to do with the pricing.
Now, is there an automated process to where when they're submitted one place, they spider out to the other places as well?
Yeah.
And is that proprietary technology, or is that something anybody can create if they have a website like ComC.com?
So it's tricky.
Okay.
Most websites like eBay and Amazon require that you can fulfill items that they sell. And if you can't, because your inventory is out of date, or you don't have good ability to find things that are shipped, then they won't let you keep selling.
Okay.
So you have to be able to keep the inventories in sync. If you have a small inventory, you're probably not selling that fast. It's not that hard. When you have millions of items, so we have 5 million plus items on eBay, and similar on Amazon, when things sell, we have to very quickly take them off of the other marketplaces. And that's where it gets really tricky. And most people, their solution is they keep 2 different inventories. They have their website inventory and an eBay inventory, because they don't want to accidentally sell something in both places. So that's been the key that we've been able to accomplish. That's a lot of work. And in fact, there are cases where it's actually impossible. When someone is close to throwing a no-hitter, their cards are going to disappear on every single platform. And so what will happen in those rare occasions is we'll get a card that sells on ComC, on eBay, and on Amazon, and we only have 1 copy of the card. So we'll have to go to those other platforms and cancel the order. Whoever gets it first is the one that gets the order. But that happens, fortunately, infrequently enough that eBay and Amazon are okay with the thresholds that we have, and so we're able to keep listing the same inventory in those places. But the other key is we have possession of the items. You can't have a marketplace where you don't do the consignment model and list them on that customer's behalf on another platform. So, for example, all the software out there that might help you list on eBay is assuming you have the items in your possession. If you're so we can list things on their behalf on those platforms because we have possession of the item. And actually, that's why we don't list certain items. For example, if an item is up in Canada and it hasn't come down to the States yet, we don't list it on eBay and Amazon until we have it in the States and it's ready for us to ship out, because they require shipping the next day. So there's a lot of restrictions. We have to be really careful to make sure that when things do sell, we can keep the SLAs that the other services require.
So it's my understanding then that you can automate the publishing of listings, but the automation of polling listings is it's not. It's a manual process.
I mean, anybody could use the APIs that eBay and Amazon offer to list and to delist and to do fulfillment and all that stuff. It's complicated. It's just a lot of work. And I'm just literally yesterday, I fixed a bug where eBay has a new way to issue refunds. And we had issued a refund to somebody, and it caused our code to not import the order because the math didn't line up. And so I had to go fix that. So you have to stay on top of all the different changes from all the different APIs. So it's very complicated to keep them in sync. And literally every year they change something that will break so you have to maintain it. And that's why we only have two. We don't have, I mean, we've had Walmart and a variety of others ask us to list on their platforms.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And we focus on the big two. Well, I would argue that the big two are ComC and eBay. But non-ComC, eBay and Amazon.
I think the turning down Walmart was a good move, and not because I don't support Walmart, because it's more that I don't know anybody who goes to Walmart's website to buy trading cards.
Well, that would probably be different if they had our inventory.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's sort of interesting to think about that. But I just think, like, a lot of people are going to Walmart and Target for, I don't even know if Walmart carries trading cards anymore. They did when I was younger. But they're going to retail to buy sealed wax at somewhat of a better price to get retail exclusive apparel. So I just think it's going to be a while yet before we see singles being sold, the trading card market. And maybe this CMC thing is, maybe we'll go to Target.com and see CMC's inventory. I don't know. I just think that this is like kind of a ball of wax that you might have to just digest at some point.
We're open to it, but it has to be worth the effort.
Right.
There's a lot of hurdles.
Glad we talked about that. Let's talk about employee success for a moment here. Is employee success measured at CMC, and if so, how?
So we do have formal reviews, and we have an HR company that we use to help kind of make sure that we're following best practices, we're following the laws. We have a pretty amazing hierarchy of managers and leads that have grown up through the company. So there's been a lot of upward mobility in ComC, even kind of like sideways mobility, moving from one department into a completely different department. For example, bringing people onto the tech team or onto the IT team that have kind of learned ComC in one capacity, and then they're taking their kind of knowledge of that portion of the company, but doing it very different job description. So there's been a lot of movement. We do have formal reviews. I think so. I fortunately don't. I do not want to have anything to do with reviews. I love technology. I have an amazing team that manages all the employees at ComC. So I'm not up on all the latest, but I know they have like monthly one-on-ones and check-ins and just make sure that their voice is getting heard and all that stuff.
Okay, this is interesting. Who do you answer to? Do you ever get a review by a committee, a board of committee, a publicly traded entity?
So Julia, my co-founder, is in charge of our operations, and so everybody ultimately reports up through Julia, and we kind of report to each other.
Okay.
I don't do a formal write-up for her. I don't know if she does a write-up for me. I doubt it. But it's an opportunity to have what a manager should be. A manager is someone who is looking out for your career and helping coach you in your career.
Yes.
And so a lot of times my one-on-one with Julia will be checking in on how things are going. What could be done differently to help me in my role? And there's been many changes. Just recently, I got an admin, an executive assistant. And so now I'm able to work very closely. Actually, I have a whole team now that's helping me with so many different tasks. I apologize if people have sent me emails. I'm not first stab at my emails. I have someone read through my emails. And
good to know, because I've sent you a lot this year.
Yeah, and then they'll bubble up. Because it's super distracting. I can't get my text work done if I'm constantly distracted by emails.
Yeah, I get it, man.
So I'll have someone make a first pass through the emails, flag the things that need attention, and then I'll address them. But that's an example of something that changed as a result of one-on-ones with Julia, and she's kind of looking out for ways to help me do a better job at what I'm doing.
So if you want to reach Tim, text him or call him. Don't send him an email.
If it's urgent, yes. Yeah.
You can dodge the executive assistant, go straight to the source. I'm kidding. Good stuff, Tim. Thanks. Are achievements celebrated at COMC, and if so, how?
Yeah, actually, we do have a program where people can nominate coworkers.
Okay.
And so we'll have weekly or monthly emails where people are calling out their fellow coworkers and things that help them. Sometimes they do it anonymously, sometimes they'll call out, do it publicly. But we have like a internal newsletter where you get to see kind of the peer-to-peer praise.
That's great. Yeah. Because I've noticed that as companies grow, you can start to feel like the cog or whatever, like a number, like large 40,000 employees. You even don't know the hierarchy beyond your boss because there's so many people. So it's nice to be able to showcase the efforts of everybody who's done something. That way, it makes them feel like they have ownership of their roles and they're part of the team, and it helps boost morale, i.e., drives productivity, and then the bottom line. So that's a really important thing, and I think that celebrating achievements is mission critical objective in terms of the health of the quality of the working environment. That's been my experience in working for large companies, so I'm glad that we talked about that. How are your Goran Dragic and Jamal Crawford collections coming along?
Wait a sec.
And can you talk about any significant pickups you've added this past year?
You must have heard me talking to someone else.
No. This is last year. You're like, what do you collect?
Okay.
You told me.
All right. No, they've been going really, really well. It is interesting. I have had to buy a lot more stuff on eBay because I've gotten all the stuff that's easy to find.
Okay.
And now for Jamal Crawford, there's a lot of collectors, so that's expensive to really go after the rare stuff. I'll go after stuff that's a good price, and when stuff comes across COMC, I'm willing to pay a little bit more of a premium for it. Goran, I've been going a little bit pretty extreme.
Okay.
I just recently got, I think, 12 101s from either eBay auctions or people that used to collect Goran.
Really?
And willing to part with them.
No kidding.
So I'm there. I have more than 1,200 Goran Dragic cards.
Oh, that's great.
I actually, I got a chance to visit Slovenia a few months ago.
Really?
And I didn't know this, but I biked like a mile from where he grew up. At the time, I found out later that I was so close to him, but big Goran Dragic fan.
Are there any specific cards that you like, a top 10 Goran checklist that I got to find these cards that I have a hard time with now? Like, so for me, Thomas Collector, there are about 40 cards I'm actively pursuing that I just never see.
You have things like the no name on front.
I've got that.
Oh my goodness.
But the 96 like mirror gold, but then that's set twice. It's only those, but they surface. It's like dry spell for years and years and years, and then like 3 or 4 surfaced over the course of like a year and a half. But they all sold between 2,200 and 5,000. And I'm like, gosh, it's just tough, right? So, but those are the types of like unicorns that are on my list. Now, do you keep a Goran checklist of stuff you're still actively pursuing that you just never see?
I'm actively pursuing anything I don't have. And I'm actively building features on ComC to make that easier.
Right.
Which there's a few people that have gotten sneak peeks on some of those features. An example.
Okay.
For my account and a handful of others, any card that you own, any card that's in your port, you'll get to see a gray box around that card. So when you're just browsing the website, anything that you already own has a gray box on it. So when I look at all Goran Dragic cards, I can very quickly see every Goran Dragic I have because I've put every Goran Dragic on ComC. So it's really easy for me to keep track of that. But we actually are going to be building more features so that even if you have cards in hand, maybe that you didn't purchase on ComC, we've never even seen, you'll be able to tell us about those, so that we can let you know, like, hey, here's some stuff on ComC that you don't have yet, or maybe specifically cards that you declared that you want.
Oh, like related and suggested.
Mm-hmm.
That's smart.
Yeah. So so that's an example of a feature that I currently have that will eventually, some manifestation of that will come publicly on the website. A lot of times I'll build things because I want them or I need them, and then we'll figure out how to make it make sense for the general population. But that's a tool that I use to help me with my Dragic collection. And anything that doesn't have the gray box on it, I'm looking to buy. Unfortunately, some people have picked up on that I like Goran Dragic, and if I'm not fast enough, they'll try to
really
them.
Yeah, oh man.
Yeah. So now I have a mobile app that sends me notifications anytime a new Goran Dragic or anybody else that's on my favorite list. Anytime it goes up for sale, I get that notification, generally before search results have updated, so I have a chance to get, because there's people that literally sit there all the time with the website open, and they're constantly looking.
Refresh.
They have an auto refresh going, and as soon as they, I'm like, there was one card that came on. It was a out of 10 autograph, Goran Dragic, for like $10. Good deal. Good deal.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, someone bought it and relisted it for more than 100. So and I was like, yeah, not as good a deal at 100.
Right. No. No.
So I want to get an opportunity to get those cards that as a collector, I want, and I want to allow other collectors to do the same thing. So as soon as we're ready to have that go live, or even in beta, many collectors will be able to sign up for that and get the notifications, so that as collectors, you can get that Frank Thomas card before the rest of the flippers and speculators go drive the price way up. But that's helped a little bit with my Dragic collection.
It's funny. There's a card I need from a set in the late '90s. It's a common. It was a short print. Should be like $1. But one was listed on CMC recently for $300. And I know the seller personally. I know him. I've met him. I was like, hey, do you have any room on it? Because I know it's rare, and I get it, and you probably were chasing this as I was too. So we're both interested in keeping the card. He's like, yeah, I want to keep it.
That's why he's just pricing it is to show it off.
Well, I think that because he knows that it's rare, just like I do, and then he got it for like $12 to $15. I'm like, lucky, because I've been after this card for forever. He's like, I just put it up there because if I get a crazy number offer, I'll take it, but it's got to be really high because I want to keep it. And I was like, totally respect that. Totally respect that. But because I have it's dangling in front of me, if I had a tail and there was a sausage dangling in front of me and I was a dog, it's like I can't get it because it's on my tail. That's how I kind of tantalize it for me. Now I'm like, finally, one more.
There,
because the last one that the only other copy that I know exists was sold on CMC, and it was, the only reason why I know that because I saw the sold listing for it. But I never saw the active listing for it. I don't know how long ago that was.
Well, that's tricky because sometimes things will go through our mailbox and never actually go up for sale.
Okay.
And so, you may see the sold listing, but someone bought it off eBay, and we just were a middleman shipping it.
It might be the same card, the same exact example, for all I know. But so I'm still after that. I don't want to pay $300, but I might pay
So here's an example.
75 to 80.
An example, that particular card, you could in the future declare that you're interested in it. In fact, you're willing to pay $75. So if someone can go find it, you can have an army of people hunting through shows because they know they can sell it for $75 to you. So then we can drive the sellers to go find that. And you mentioned, for example, one of your first questions was about the market.
Right.
Well, we can look at the sales to get a sort of a prediction of what the market is. But a list of things that buyers say they want seems like the gold standard.
Oh yeah, right there.
And so that's really what my focus has been is at some point we want to have a list that sellers can see that these are buyers are hunting for these cards. If you find them, send them in. You're going to have a sale.
That's smart, and I would utilize that, no doubt. Especially for this $1 card that's apparently worth $300. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with our viewers?
I guess in general, the thing that you're gonna see on ComC in the next, I'll say year plus, a lot of new technology, a lot of mobile apps. We talked about we're internally referring to it as a registry where you can declare what you have, so that you can do the gray box kind of thing. Want list type of stuff that we were just talking about. There's a lot of scenarios that are going to be enabled through some of the new functionality that's coming out. So definitely stay tuned. The mobile app, getting notifications. We'll add things like when you get an offer, get a notification so that people can respond to it. So as a buyer, when you place an offer, the sellers might be a lot faster at responding if they have a mobile app installed.
Right.
They're going to probably come out very iteratively. We'll build more and more functionality. So the very first version of the mobile app will probably be lacking a ton of things that people want.
Of course, but you got to get something out.
Yeah, so we get something out there. Actually, right now, the mobile app, you have to use the website for most of the functionality. It's really there just to give you the notifications and help you get to the item that you want to buy. So that might be the very first version of the mobile app that we ship, and then we'll add on top of that a lot more functionality. So keep an eye out for new things like that. The other thing that I would focus on, kind of as a closing thought, is we have been predominantly focused on low-end cards. As a collector, that's what I collected growing up, and that's really what we had historically focused on. We've gotten the price point down where people can enjoy collecting $2 cards. As we grow, are welcoming more high-end cards. That's why we changed our fee structure. We're doing some new events. For example, up in September, we're going to be offering a premier event where people that want to consign high-end cards can have all their high-end cards go live on the site at one time. And we're going to do a big push, a lot of marketing to create excitement around all these high-end cards. So we're welcoming more high-end cards. So if people thought of us in the past as that's where I send my cheap stuff, you can still send your cheap stuff to us. But expect that with the changes in functionality, the changes in fee structure, you're going to want to consign more high-end. And then as a buyer, you're going to have a lot more high-end to choose from on ComC because we're trying to attract that. That's probably a big piece that kind of, if you thought of us in a certain way in the past, that's one thing that I would expect to change as we go forward.
Very good. Tim Getsch, founder and CEO of SteelMC.com. You can check them out at SteelMC.com or check out my cards as their Twitter handle. Thanks for your time, Tim. I really appreciate it. Be sure to follow them on social media and keep up to date on what they're up to because a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline. So thanks again, Tim. Thanks for tuning in to Radicards TV on Radicards.com. I'm your host, Patrick Greeno. Thank you, Tim, for joining me. And until next time, enjoy collecting.
If you like this content, please subscribe. Thank you. Enjoy collecting.